By a show of hands, tell me if you have categorized somebody on sight or by what you thought you knew about their culture. Don't worry, your secret is safe with me and everybody in here. I've had these experiences throughout my life. There was one time I remember talking to a handsome American gentleman. And the success of our courtship would be dependent upon my ability to produce endless plates of curry goat, rice and peas. And with that meal, I found out that he wanted the best of my Jamaican culture at the convenience of my American birthplace. Needless to say, I told him where he can go to go get that curry goat, white rice, and peas. Then it dawned on me, I had been living between the sharp edges of two monolithic cultures, trying to balance myself on its highs and then not get tripped up in the potholes in the valleys. You see, to Jamaicans, I wasn't Jamaican enough because I wasn't born on the island, despite the fact I had two Jamaican parents and I was raised in Jamaican culture. Save for the few times that American sitcoms would come into our home, and maybe a handful of Friday nights where we would have hamburgers and fries and maybe an occasional slice of pizza or two. And then to the Americans, I wasn't American enough because my parents were Jamaican and I was raised in a different culture. It was hard to stand on this line, and I've done it for a little over 40 years. Shh. But in that, I gathered great lessons that came from some very beautifully divergent experiences that I want to share with you today. The first memory that comes to mind is when I brought American slang home to my Jamaican parents. And let me tell you something. I brought it home like a stray animal, and you never bring anything stray to your Jamaican parents, okay? I don't remember what was I doing or what day it was, but I remember my father asked me to do something for him. And in true teenager fashion, I probably was dilly-dallying around and probably forgot about it. Then I heard him call my name. Tracey! Okay, all right. This means I need to get going. So then I remembered he wanted a glass of water or something to that effect. So I went to the kitchen, and right before I grabbed the cup out of the cupboard, I heard him say again, "Bring me a glass of water." Okay, glass of water coming right up. And then he called my name out again. Maybe I was moving too slow. "Tracey!" So I called out to him and said, "All right, Dad, I finna bring it." I didn't think nothing of it. I was talking slang with the kids at school. Hey! Then out of thin air, he appeared in the kitchen. His 6'3.5", dark-skinned, tall self looked at me and said, "What did you say?" I said, "I finna," and he immediately cut me off. "Let me tell you something here, Tracey. Speak the proper English. It's either you are or you aren't. None of that finna business in my house." Okay. And that's when I learned that you don't mix cultures without permission. Culture is someone's identity. It's with them from generation to generation to generation. Treat culture like extending your hand over the line and doing a handshake and then coming back over. Respect the boundaries. Always respect cultural boundaries, and that way you can avoid your Jamaican father from telling you don't bring slang inside of his house. The next experience was when I attended Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in Tallahassee, Florida. It was a melting pot of culture. You had the students from New York that brought their bubble jackets and their Timberlands. Then you had the students from Philly that had their jean shorts rolled up in their Philly cheesesteaks. Then you had the students from California that brought their laid-back attitude. And then you had students from the Deep South that brought with them the stories of their grandmother's hands that made wonderful meals. It was a smorgasbord of culture, and I took it in. Now, please understand, it was a bit of a culture shock, because I'm coming from a 100% Jamaican home to something that is vast and colorful like a kaleidoscope. You see, I grew up eating steamed red snapper with the head and the tail. When I went to FAMU, they were eating catfish without the head and the tail, and it was golden fried to a perfection. I was like, what is this? But I took it all in. My neighbor in my college dorm, Miss Carmen Johnson Nolan, she had this grandma that would always send her cakes. She would send Carmen pound cakes, lemon pound cakes, 7-Up cakes, thick cakes, sour cream cakes, regular cakes, German chocolate cakes, any type of cake you could think of. Carmen's grandmother would send it, and Carmen would share it with us all. I wanted in on that sharing experience. I wanted to bring my culture up into the mix. So I started thinking, what was going to be the thing I was going to introduce to the cake sharing circle that was Jamaican? The almighty black rum cake with its rum-soaked fruit, with its sweetness and its allspice. But then again, eating the black cake out of the wedding or outside of a birthday or outside of any type of celebration was sacrilegious. And of course, eating black cake outside of Christmas was a no-no. So I had to think about something else. I know, Easter bun, or what we call spice bun. It is a thick loaf filled with candied cherries and fruits and other spices, and it smelled glorious, and we ate it around Easter time. So I called my mother, and I asked if she could send up a fruit bun, 2-day priority mail, and she obliged. So I ran to the post office when it came, and I knocked on Carmen's door, and I said, the spice bun is here. And ran to my dorm room. I opened the box and released the fragrance of all those wonderful spices. Carmen came with her styrofoam plate, and I sliced it up, and I gave her a piece. Carmen put it in her mouth. She closed her eyes, and she threw her head back, and then she came back and said, "This ain't it." What do you mean this ain't it? This is the piece of Jamaican cornerstone bakery item, anything that you could think of. Now, save for the fact that you're supposed to have bun with cheese. It's supposed to be bun and cheese, but you know, we're not gonna have cheese, but just the bun. But still, I was floored. But then again, I wasn't dismayed, because just because someone doesn't quite accept your culture at first taste doesn't mean they won't accept it at all. You just have to give them time so they'll be able to soak in all those flavors and then be able to put things together for themselves. Needless to say, Carmen and I are friends to this very day. College was this open sharing of cultures, ideas, and knowledge, and it was a glorious time. But we all know we have to graduate, or not, and enter into the working world. And that's where it becomes a little cold, a little rigid. Then you start making assumptions of your own about people in your extracurricular and even in your civic life. Well, I started making assumptions of my own. I joined a cycling group, and that is where I met my cycling coach. And let me tell you about my cycling coach, Mr. Lewis Scott. He is an almond-skinned black man with the vernacular of a Harvard grad. I thought he was from the Midwest. But it turns out, Lewis is from Panama, and he speaks fluent Spanish, and he went to high school in Miami Gardens, which is Florida's predominantly African American and Caribbean American community. Assumptions. But you know what? Don't get stuck when you make an assumption and you're gracefully corrected. Dig in further. To go even further, I will be traveling to Panama to ride my bike with my cycling coach and some friends. That is an example of something that you can gain when you decide to dig in further. Let me take you all back to the 90s for a few minutes, where there was a sitcom called In Living Color that had everybody thinking that Jamaicans had 12 jobs. For the record, my parents had one job apiece. But then more assumptions came after that show. Those who were not born in the United States thought that folks who were born in the United States did nothing but watch baseball and eat hot dogs. I was born in the United States, but I don't watch baseball, and I may have a hot dog or two. Assumptions. I stand here today, and obviously you see a black woman who's an American. But here's the catch. I'm not Black American, based off of the heritage of my parents and my lineal generation that goes far back into the barrels of the history of Jamaica. It is so important not to generalize, but to find out for yourself the rich information that lies beneath. Because it is so easy to categorize and not think. I want to leave you all with 3 things to think about today. The first, embrace cultural differences. Did you know that differences spark innovative thinking? Come on, do you honestly think some of the world's best inventions came from a room full of people that thought the same way, talked the same way, and looked the same way? No. The best things come from those who differ. Second, celebrate cultural similarities. These are the ties that bind. These are the things that bring us closer together. I'll give you a story. A friend of mine, who coincidentally, her name is Tracey, she was born here, but her family is from Cuba. Tracey and I met on the job, and we turned out to have quite a few things in common, especially the wearing of our wild hair. If I allowed myself to generalize, I would not have gotten to know how wonderful a person Tracey is. And the last thing I want to leave with you all today is to build community. Build upon those things that you know works and doesn't work. You already have the tie that binds. You already have the cultural differences. Now you have a story to write and tell. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tracey Jackson. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, to 2 Jamaican parents. I speak the King's English. American slang, and Jamaican patois. I don't watch baseball, but I will have a hot dog if I'm watching soccer or what those who are in the international space call football. I want to challenge you all today. I want to leave you with this. Don't judge by sight, but look beneath, because when you do, you will find your own beautifully, culturally divergent experience. Thank you.